I wanted to be just like Jeff Davis when I grew up, tackling Seminoles and Bulldogs, playing football in the mud. So everybody sing Tiger Rag at the top of your lungs, and we'll party like it's 1981. Make those Death Valley lights shine brighter. And for good luck, we got Howard's Rock to beat the hell out of them old Gamecocks. It's a damn good day to be a Clemson Tiger. I feel really sorry for our sisters to the south, 'cause they come up here every other year and get punched in the mouth. Oh, and every home Saturday, it gives us the chills to watch those boys in orange run together down that hill. So everybody sing Tiger Rag at the top of your lungs, and we'll party like it's 1981. Make those Death Valley lights shine brighter. And for good luck, we got Howard's Rock to beat the hell out of them old Gamecocks. It's a damn good day to be a Clemson Tiger. Oh, somewhere up in heaven, Gaines Adams makes us sad, and that old Banks McFadden is the best damn running back. So everybody sing Tiger Rag at the top of your lungs, and we'll party like it's 1981. Make those Death Valley lights shine brighter. And for good luck, we got Howard's Rock to beat the hell out of them old Gamecocks. It's a damn good day to be a Clemson Tiger. It's a damn good day to be a Clemson Tiger. Everybody, damn good day to be a Clemson Tiger. Oh yeah.
Good afternoon, everybody. Pigskin Pete here. Happy Sunday to everybody. A couple of reasons for this stream today. One thing is I want to talk about the Miami and LSU game tonight. I want to talk about some of the games that came on yesterday. And I think I'm a genius, which Tiger Nation tells me I am because I'm a Clemson fan. I was having major problems yesterday during the stream for the Auburn and Washington game with my internet, and it kept lagging, cutting out a few times. So what I did was I made my cell phone a hotspot. So I want to see how well that works. So if at any point during this stream today you start seeing lagging or cutting out, somebody let me know. I think this will work, but I'm not very smart, so I don't know if it will work or not. We're going to find out. All right, so let's see who's in here. Good afternoon, Uncle Luke. Uncle Luke was the first one on today. Everyone likes to be the first one on. So Uncle Luke, congratulations. That was you. Good afternoon, sir. College Football Maniac, Air Max the Legend Killer, 81 Clemson Tigers 16. Jamie McCaslin, go Canes, he says. And I agree. I'll be rooting for the Canes tonight. Tiger Nation, looks like that's who's in here. DeGoat Watson, good afternoon, sir. Welcome to the stream. Brett Legg. How you doing, sir? Good afternoon. I'm sure if you're here, you're amazing and fantastic. Otherwise, you would not be here. Billy Dawson, my man. What's going on, Billy Dawson? Big win for the Alabama last night. Listen, let's be honest. Who did not see that coming? Louisville ran their mouth like a bunch of morons and then got embarrassed on national television. What was the final score of that game? 100-0? That was terrible. Showing by Louisville. Nick Bro, good afternoon, sir. How you doing? College Football Dojo. How you doing? Yeah, so College Football Dojo brings up the Michigan game. Michael Moultrie, how you doing, sir? He's must be a Canes fan. I don't know. I'm trying to see, or maybe a Rutgers fan. Can't tell. I'll get into that game in a minute. You know, the Michigan game. I got a lot of pushback on that. Of course, I knew I would with the Michigan video I posted. And what I got is Michigan fans coming in there saying, "Oh, they have a tough schedule." Well, all right. Well, that's one game. Don't tell me about your schedule. You're 0-1. So, and that's actually part of my point. when I say that Michigan season's over, everyone says, "Oh, you can't say Michigan season's over. It's one game." Well, yeah, it's one game, but now you got to win the rest of them. And the chances of you beating Northwestern, Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan State, Wisconsin, and winning the Big Ten at this point are slim to none. Sorry. All there is to it. Oh, he's a Clemson fan. Michael Moultrie is. So, yeah, sorry, Michigan. It has been 3 seasons and 1 game that Jim Harbaugh has underwhelmed and not beat a ranked team on the road. And it's been since 2006 that Michigan's won a game on the road versus a ranked team. So good luck with that. I just want to know, how long is it going to be before Jim Harbaugh gets on the hot seat? I'm guessing he's got another 2 years of losing against ranked teams before they fire him. But it is what it is. 51-14 says Brett Legg was the Alabama game. Yeah, I turned that off in the fourth quarter. It was embarrassing. So I didn't even bother watching the end of it. Let's see here. Brett Legg says he'll never choose Michigan until they do something. Harbaugh is the most overrated coach in college football. I agree. I completely agree. Jim Harbaugh. I mean, and I don't think that Jim Harbaugh is a bad coach. I think he's an overrated coach and an overpaid coach. He's the highest paid coach in the Big Ten. But in my opinion, he's not better than Wisconsin's coach. He's not better than Northwestern's coach. He's not better than James Franklin at Penn State. He's definitely not better than Urban Meyer. I mean, Urban Meyer's got his own problems right now, but he's not a better coach than Urban Meyer is. So, fourth or fifth best coach in the Big Ten, highest paid coach in the Big Ten, can't win a road game. So, Michigan fans hate me for saying that, but I mean, it is what it is, guys. I mean, if I was a Michigan fan, I would not be happy right now, but I'm not, so I don't have to worry about it. I can just get on here and trash them, and with no recourse, and it's fun. So I'm gonna keep doing it. Right, and that brings me to my next point. Anybody who's new to the Pigskin Pete YouTube channel, wasn't on here last football season, you're gonna get a lot of that. Okay. And the only way to cure that ailment of me trashing your team is to not pull a Michigan and not lose. It's that simple. And believe me, if Clemson goes out there and lays an egg next week against Texas A&M, I'll be the first one to get on here and trash Clemson. That's a game they should not lose. Period. I don't think they're going to lose it. But if they do, I'm not going to, tuck my twit. It'll be fun. So everybody needs to stop in for that. Good afternoon, Falcons Fury, our resident Florida fan. Hey, Falcons Fury, how were you? Were you pleased? I know you guys played Charleston Southern, and that's hardly a big game or anything like that. But were you pleased at least for what you saw from your Florida Gators there? The Goat Watson says Alabama's secondary is not good, and they can't pressure. What did he say? They can't pressure. I lost it. I'm guessing you're saying they can't pressure the quarterback. I mean, I will tell you this. During the first quarter, Louisville, they did look pretty good. I mean, considering the fact of who they were playing against. Nobody expected Louisville to beat Alabama. They did look like they were getting some pressure on the quarterback. They did make some plays. Their starting defensive end, who's an All-American, got hurt. I want to say maybe in the second quarter. And obviously Louisville's not very deep on the defensive side of the ball. Once that guy got hurt, it was over. Tua looked great. I mean, there's no doubt that Tua is the starting quarterback for the Crimson Tide from here on out. I'm sure they'll play both quarterbacks at some point, throughout the first couple of games. But when they get into SEC play against elite talent, elite defenses, Tua is going to be the starter, and they're not going to take him out. That's my opinion. Jamie McCaslin says, they won't lose. Please destroy Jimbo for you. Yeah, I'm not worried about it. I don't know they haven't even come out with the line on that in Vegas yet. The Clemson game next week. I'd say Clemson's got to be at least a 13 or 14 point favorite in that game. And I don't see any way Clemson loses that game unless they completely lay an egg, which I don't see happening. Otto says he doesn't know if he likes it yet. Otto, who's your team? Falcons Fury says he was very pleased by Franks. He did what we should have with the starters. Now our O-line was aggressive and dominant. They should have been. Big concern also is nice to see the jump pass. Oh, you mean that Tim Tebow-esque jump pass that Franks did? Franks had 5 touchdowns in the first half. That's got to be a record. He did look good, but listen, Charleston Southern's terrible. I mean, it's a an FCS team. So, DeGoat Watson says, Pete, all the Gamecock fans I know are crying about the game day going to Texas A&M versus Clemson instead of South Carolina versus Georgia. Well, there's a reason for that. I think that game day thinks. Well, first of all, here's the thing. Will the South Carolina and Georgia game be a better game on the field? Probably. It may be closer, but it's the storyline. It's Jimbo versus Dabo. Jimbo being in another conference, the whole thing. So they can cry about it all they want to. Otto says he's a Huskers fan. Go Big Red. Hey, Otto, go ahead and like the video then, because I'm going to tell you something that you're going to like now. I don't know if you're new to the channel or not. I think that Scott Frost is a top 10 coach in the country. I do think, however, that Scott Frost needs probably about 3 or 4 years to get that thing turned around to where he's competing with Ohio State and Wisconsin. But I don't know. We may see some upsets. Nebraska's they don't have the talent right now, but Scott Frost will recruit well, and I think he's a hell of a football coach. So I'm a big believer in Scott Frost. I'm on the Scott Frost bandwagon until he can show me any different. But like I said, I'm giving him 3 or 4 years. And if Michigan had to go down to Nebraska, I'd pick Nebraska. Oh, that's because I don't believe in old Harbaugh. Ryan Ridley says Florida's defense looked really good. Yeah, Florida has all the talent in the world. So talent is never going to be a problem for Florida. It's just I think they need. I mean, they could be the sweetheart team of the season, right? I mean, their biggest question mark is at the quarterback position. Now, Felipe Franks looked good against a high school team, but how's he going to look against Georgia? How's he going to look against South Carolina? How's he going to look against even the other teams in the East, Missouri and Kentucky? We're going to find out. The Goat Watson says, which top 5 Big Ten team will lose to Iowa this season? I don't know. Does Michigan play Iowa? I don't think they do. Good afternoon, Johnny 9 or 8. Yeah, so everyone's piling. Your college football dojo is talking about Penn State. Now, Penn State was my pick to win the Big Ten, even though it's not a very popular pick because, listen, everyone's picking Ohio State to win the Big Ten, and they should because they have the most talent and they have the best coach. I went out on a limb with Penn State. Everyone's saying, oh, they went to overtime with App State. They're terrible. I don't jump off the Penn State train yet. They're not going to be a terrible team. I will, however, say that I'm not going to go as far as saying that they're going to dethrone Ohio State and win the East or the Big Ten right now, based on what I saw last night. But App State's not a bad team, and it's just one game. And unlike Michigan, Penn State has beat ranked teams on the road recently. So that's the reason I'm not on the Michigan train, but I'm still on the Penn State train. But I will say that Ohio State's loaded, and their quarterback does look really good. Jamie says Penn State was embarrassing yesterday. Yeah. We'll see what happens with them. Believe me, I still think that Penn State's better than Michigan. And I still think that even though Ohio State is loaded, they have to go to Penn State this year, and that's going to be a tough game for Ohio State to win. Ohio State should win the game, but they've been upset in Penn State the past in recent years. I think 2 years ago, last time they played at Penn State. And I'm a big believer in James Franklin. I really do like him as a head coach. So I'm not going to be one of these guys that's going to be dogging Penn State just because they had a tough game the first game of the week, first game of the season. I didn't watch the Penn State game because I was streaming during the Auburn and Washington game, and that was on at the same time. I was getting score updates though. Yes, I agree. Yes, he is very overrated. Good afternoon, George, another Gators fan. So what I'm looking for tonight, I'm super stoked about this game. I don't know about you guys. Um, First of all, I'm actually a little bit surprised to see that Miami in Vegas is only a 3.5 point favorite in this game. I think that Miami is 3.5 points better, easily, than LSU is. This game is in Texas, more of a home game for LSU than it is Miami. Believe me, Miami fans travel better to away games than they do to their own home games. But I think here's the thing: Miami's got a top 10 defense. LSU might have a top 15 defense. I don't know. LSU has a first year. This is a very similar situation. I mean, the parallels between LSU and Michigan right now are unbelievable. You have two coaches who I don't believe in. I don't believe in Ed Orgeron. I don't believe in Jim Harbaugh. You have two teams that have no offense in Michigan and LSU, right? You have two teams that went and got transferred quarterbacks, highly rated quarterbacks. You got LSU went and got Joe Burrow from Ohio State, and of course Michigan went and got Shea Patterson from Ole Miss. Here's the thing: is Joe Burrow going to be great at LSU? He very well may be. He's not going to be great in the first game though. The same way that Shea Patterson was not great last night. It just is what it is. If this game was going to be played in Week 8, I might have a different tune. Week 1's not going to happen. Burrow's going to struggle. LSU's going to struggle to move the ball against Miami's defense. I wouldn't be shocked to see LSU turn it over 3 or 4 times tonight. And this game will be won on defense by Miami. That's my opinion. I'm picking Miami to win by 7. That's my final answer. Go ahead and tell me why I'm wrong. Everyone else does it. Why wouldn't you? Nick Bro says if this Miami LSU game is a blowout, he's going to be mad. You guys seem to be most of you people seem to be agreeing with me that LSU is going to lose. So, where are my LSU fans at? LSU fans disappeared in like 2015, didn't they? Haven't seen a lot of them. Another great game tomorrow night, Florida State, Virginia Tech. Of course, I'm picking Florida State to win that. That should be a very interesting game. That's a very hard game to pick, though. I'm a big believer in the Virginia Tech coach, but I'm about this close to jumping off that Fuente bandwagon. I'm about this close. If they get blown out by Florida State, I'm off the wagon. Kiss it goodbye. I won't be stumping for Fuente anymore. But at the end of the day, Florida State's way more talented than Virginia Tech is. That's just all there is to it. I mean, roster-wise, personnel-wise. So, George says he's listening, but he can't comment anymore. Going to do stuff. Talk to you later. See you later, George. Thanks for stopping in, man. Appreciate you. College Football Maniac says Virginia Tech all day. Well, I'm not. I'm picking Florida State to win that game. I'm not like super confident in my pick because I don't know about Willie Taggart. I'm just going off of personnel alone, period. The players on the field. Listen, Florida State has a great defense, well, better than Virginia Tech's. They have an elite running back in Cam Akers, and they have a better quarterback. Now, I do think that Virginia Tech's quarterback is not terrible. Josh Jackson, he's a returning starter. He's not bad, but DeAndre Francois, as long as he can stay healthy, is a better quarterback than Josh Jackson is. It comes down to, like I said, the personnel. And right now, my Florida State's roster is absolutely loaded with talent, courtesy of Jimbo Fisher. Willie Taggart needs to send Jimbo Fisher a Christmas gift and a gift card, and maybe even a cake this year because he's left him a hell of a team. And listen, Willie Taggart, say what you want to about him. We don't know a lot about him. He's an offensive guy. He runs up tempo style of offense. It's heavy run spread system, and he's like I said, he's got the guy to do it. Cam Akers is no joke, people, and I would expect Cam Akers tomorrow night's going to have a huge game. Cam Akers might go off tomorrow night. He might have 200 yards on the ground and 3 touchdowns for all we know. Now, I'm not saying he's going to do that, but don't be shocked if he does, though. Trust me. Sorry, my phone's blowing up. So far, my hotspot seems to be working pretty good, right? You guys aren't seeing any lagging on the stream. If so, that would be amazing and fantastic, because I need a solution to this problem that I've been having, and so far it seems to be working. I haven't seen anybody on here telling me any different. It hasn't cut out on me. I haven't had any complaints from you guys about the audio not matching up with the video. I don't see any of the swirly thing on the screen. So that's great. Great news for everybody involved, because I've got kids on the internet. My wife's on the internet, and everything seems to be going great. And I didn't even have to spend any money to do that, which is the best part about all of it, really. So it's like Christmas at the Pete House. Nick Bro says, "Are you going to live stream the game, Florida State versus Virginia Tech?" I don't know yet. I've considered it. So stay tuned. I only plan on doing one a week. We'll see how I feel tomorrow, and we'll see what's going on at the Pete household. I might do it. Falcons Fury says, "Is your hotspot unlimited?" I don't know. I didn't even know I had it. I literally was racking my brain for the past week. Like I told you, I've been to Best Buy 3 times. I bought all kinds of crap to try to get the Wi-Fi signal boosted. Didn't work. I was just on my cell phone today searching for solutions to this problem, and I noticed the hotspot thing. So I clicked on my computer Wi-Fi signal, and it recognizes my phone, since I have an Apple phone and a Mac computer, and it registered a hotspot option for my phone. So I clicked it. It linked up within like 3 seconds, and I figured, you know what? I'll go live and try it. A test run, if you will, and it seems to be working. I don't know how long it goes for, or I don't know anything about it, but it seems to be working. If you have unlimited data, you have unlimited hotspot. Yes, I do have unlimited data, so I guess I do have unlimited hotspot, which is awesome. No, to go Watson. Nobody. Like, none of my neighbors are using my Wi-Fi. It's just people in my house are. I have a out of town guest here. My father-in-law. He's using it. My wife uses it. My kids use it. It's just like a cluster F of people using my Wi-Fi. So it is what it is. I can tell them to not use it for 3 hours, but they're using it anyway. They're sneaky. Trust me. They don't respect Daddy Pete in this house. They want you to pay an arm and a leg to get great internet, and it screws you in the end. Yeah, but yeah, don't get me started on that. Mark Dudley. Mark Dudley, my man, our resident Michigan. He's the only. You know what, Mark Dudley? I'm going to mod you, sir. You're about to get modded right now. Or when the stream's over, I'm going to mod you. I really like Mark Dudley. He's a Michigan fan, and he's the only Michigan fan on the Pigskin Pete YouTube channel that has not run away, and he continues to come back. No matter how much I trash Michigan, no matter how much I trash Jim Harbaugh, Mark Dudley is always here, and so I've got a lot of respect for you, sir. You are definitely one of my favorite people. So Mark Dudley, you will be modded. If you want to be. If not, then let me know. And thank you for showing up. I'm sure if you're here, you're amazing and fantastic. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. And for him to show up after getting beat by Notre Dame last night, he's a real fan. He doesn't run and hide like the rest of them. Good afternoon, Comic Dude 45. How you doing, sir? Thank you for joining the stream. When you have like 8 to 12 devices on Wi-Fi, it starts to suck. No, I don't have 8 to 12 on it. I've got maybe 3 or 4, and it still sucks. So it is what it is. So last night, my wife was like, we need to call the internet company and get the best Wi-Fi available for your streams. And I'm like, we already have the best Wi-Fi available. It's not going to matter. I'm not going to pay another $20 a month for my stream to get, laggy and suck. So anyway, so I may go live for the Virginia Tech, my Florida State game. I'm not sure though. See, the thing is, tomorrow's a holiday, but Tuesday is not. And I got kids, got to go to school. We got work the next morning, the wife and I. So I don't know. We'll see how I feel. Maybe I'll take I'm like an old man. Maybe I'll take a nap. I'll be good to go. We'll see. Tiger Nation says he knows Mark Dudley for a little bit. Man, he's a good dude. So what I'll do is I will actually, I'll definitely mod you. Ryan Ridley, you think UT will win the SEC game this year? Yes, I do. I actually do. I think that Tennessee will win an SEC game. Now, having said that, I think Tennessee fans, listen, God love them. It's hard for me to bash Tennessee fans. First of all, I know a few of them that I like on YouTube. And it's, kicking somebody when they're down. I love kicking Michigan, but they're not, they're still considered to be a great team. Tennessee's not. It's hard to kick it's like spanking a sick dog or something. Something's not right about it. So here's the thing. I do think Tennessee will win at least one SEC game this year. And I still think that they're going to only win 5 games. If they make a bowl game, I'll be impressed. I think that Tennessee's ceiling is right around 5 or 6 games. And even they know that. So I'm not telling them there's something they don't know. Yeah. DeGoat Watson says, Pete, do you think UCF will go undefeated? And if they do, would they or should they make the playoffs? I'd have to look at their schedule. I looked at it the other day. I can't remember. Do they play the Fighting Lane Kiffins this year? It's hard to go undefeated, even for UCF. And so, you know what? Without even looking at their schedule, I'll answer that question for you. My answer is no. My answer is no, that they won't go undefeated. They'll lose at least one game, and they definitely won't make the playoffs. So, Billy Dawson says that they will go undefeated because they play no one. But I agree. They're probably UCF will be favored in every game they play this year. I'm sure about that. Still hard to go undefeated, no matter who you are. I have a feeling they'll lose a game to somebody that they're supposed to beat, and they definitely won't make they won't even make the playoffs if they do go undefeated. Mark Dudley says, Pete, you know what's funny? I left all these trash-talking comments all over YouTube, and now my phone is blowing up. You were talking trash before the game, you mean? Hey, listen, I've been there, man. Hey, listen. Do you, if Clemson, well, it did happen last year. Clemson lost to Syracuse, but believe me, if Clemson goes out and loses to Texas A&M tomorrow, not only will my channel be blowing up, but I got to go on air and eat crow. So I've been there before. It is what it is. If you're a trash talker like I am, there's a lot that comes along with that. Believe me. And it's inevitable. I mean, that Clemson, they might go 12-0, might not. If they lose a game, that's a tough week for Pigskin Pete. It's a tough week even if I wasn't on YouTube, but it makes it even tougher when you are. But you got to have thick skin in this, man. I mean, it is what it is. One of the greatest things about college football, or if you're an NFL fan about NFL football, is the trash talking. I mean, it's what makes it fun. you know, you got to have a thick skin. People come across my videos or even some of my live streams. Who is this Clemson fan talking crap about Michigan? Or who's this Clemson fan talking crap about Southern California or whoever else? It's an SEC team. I mean, who's this guy I think he is? He doesn't know anything about football. He's an idiot. He's just you know, he's probably in his mom's basement, has no life, blah, 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 blah. I've heard it all. You name it. I've had people tell me to go die. They hope I get in a car wreck, whatever. It's just, you got to have a thick skin. So. Austin Jensen. Good afternoon, sir. Brody L. Brody L's beating his chest this morning, isn't he? Hey, Brody L. We did it, didn't we? We were right, sir, weren't we? So I did my my Vegas lock videos, and I picked 5 games. I was 4-1 in those games, by the way. I'm gonna give myself a big pat on the back for that. I didn't bet $1 on any of it. I was telling you guys to bet the money and send it to me, which always works out better in my end. But I was 4-1 of those, and believe it or not, woke up this morning to comments on there trashing me about getting one of the games wrong. I'm like, look, man, what is that? I was 80% on my my betting line picks. I mean, anybody who actually does bet money, if they're 80% winning at the end of the week, that's good. So you can find me, you know, one game and go and trash me about picking one wrong, but you didn't give me the kudos for the other 4 I got right. So, good afternoon, Mr. You Mad Bro. How you doing, sir? Austin Jensen says, who will Dabo start next week? Kelly Bryant. No doubt about it. But they'll both play. So, doesn't matter who starts. Kelly Bryant will start until we hear different. Now, this could be the game. This could be the week, though. I'm actually probably expecting this to happen. Unless he's going to play both of them, like I said. They'll both get significant playing time against Texas A&M. He's going to be using this as a measuring stick to see who he wants to start later in the year. If Kelly B goes out there and is not passing the ball well and Trevor Lawrence goes in there and throws 4 touchdowns, he'll make the switch. If they both play well, Kelly Bryant will continue to be the starter until he does not play well. That's it. That's what you can expect for the rest of the year. Kelly Bryant will start, and as long as he plays well, he will continue to start. But they will play both quarterbacks. I expect by the end of the year, though, especially when you get into the meat of the ACC schedule, and definitely when you get up towards the end of the year when we have to play South Carolina, and most likely an ACC championship game, there will be a solid starter by then. And my guess is it will probably end up being Trevor Lawrence. Based on what I saw yesterday, there's no doubt in anybody's mind who's a better passer. And to beat Alabama or Georgia or Ohio State or Oklahoma or whoever it is, that if we can make it to the playoffs that we're going to have to play in the playoffs, even Miami in the ACC championship game, we're going to have to pass the ball, period. And they know that. So it eventually will be Trevor, just a matter of when that change happens. We'll see. Mark Dudley says, this is the first time he's calling Jim Harbaugh an idiot. Dylan was moving the ball, and he put Shea back in. What the F was that? Yeah. Now, I will say this, though. Shea Patterson did not play well, not because it wasn't his fault he didn't play well. He's clearly still trying to acclimate to that system. He's been playing a spread system his entire life, and all of a sudden he goes to a pro-style offense and is expected to go out there and look like Tom Brady. It ain't gonna happen. He's a great arm talent, and he looks like a hell of an athlete too. He can run the ball. He's just not. He's not there yet. And in a big-time game on the road against a good Notre Dame team, he wasn't ready for that. That was clear. It wasn't even. I'll tell you the other big problem with Michigan is their offensive line's terrible. So they need to fix that, or they're going to have a hell of a time with Ohio State and Wisconsin. Is Lawrence a true freshman or a redshirt? He's a true freshman. Yeah, he's like 18 years old. And he won't get redshirted either. Even with the new redshirt rule, he'll play more than 4 games no matter what happens. If he becomes a starter, then that's incredible for him. Yeah, he's not only is he going to be a great player for Clemson, he's going to be, is if he stays healthy, a very highly drafted quarterback in the NFL. Maybe the first one taken that year. He's a once in a lifetime arm talent. Period. Who wins tonight? I'm picking Miami. I'm picking Miami to win by at least. Let's see here. The spread's 3.5. They'll definitely cover that. I think. If I was betting, I'd bet on Miami at 3.5. My prediction is that the final score that Miami will win by at least a touchdown, probably more. So I'll say 6 points. Easy, 6 points. I wouldn't be shocked if it were 10 or 14 or more. I guess. Yeah, Lawrence throws lasers. He's unbelievable to watch pass the ball. He's got a cannon for an arm, and he's very accurate too. Michigan might have to forfeit the rest of the season if they lose to Northwestern. Hey, listen, Northwestern's pretty good. Listen, the Big Ten is a tough conference. It is. I mean, I believe that the ACC, the SEC, and the Big Ten are the 3 best conferences, and there's not much separation between the 3. I mean, if you're a Big Ten fan, you like to trash the ACC and the SEC, and if you're an SEC fan, you like to trash the ACC and the Big Ten, and vice versa, all around the board. Big 12 can get involved and trash it and say they got the best too. Everyone thinks they're in the best conference. I'm telling you right now, the Big Ten is very tough to navigate, and that's a big problem for Michigan. But you can't tell me that Michigan, that's their excuse for never winning a game against a ranked team, because everybody else in the Big Ten is beating ranked teams. Everybody in the ACC is beating ranked teams, and everybody in the Big 12 is beating ranked teams. The only team that's not beating ranked teams is Michigan. Are there any games you're nervous about this year as a Clemson fan? Yes, a lot of them. I'm nervous about NC State because they always play us tough, even though we're always better than them. I'm nervous about Florida State. I'm getting much more nervous about Boston College. This might be the best Boston College team in a decade or 15 years. Boston College is always tough defense, but they never have an offense. Well, this year they got an offense, and they've got the top 3 running backs in America and A.J. Dillon. And we have to play them on the road at night in November. So I'm worried about that game. There's 3 games right there. NC State, Florida State, Boston College, and, of course, Louisville. I mean, we have Louisville at home. Not too worried. After what I saw last night, I'm not too worried about Louisville. So I'd say 3 games. And if we make it to the ACC championship, and I'm assuming we're going to probably end up playing Miami, I will be worried about that game, despite the fact that we blew them off the map last year. It doesn't matter; it's not last year, and Miami's got a good team. And anytime you get to a championship situation, anything can happen. If they're good enough to get to the ACC championship, they're good enough to win it. So I'll be worried about that game too, if that's what ends up happening. Good afternoon, Dondre Crawford. How you doing, sir? We played Duke this year. Here's the thing: Duke is actually a pretty good team, much better than people think they are. Believe me. But no, I'm not worried about Duke. That's not what I'm worried about. I'm more worried about Boston College than Duke. No, I'm not worried about A&M. I really am not. I'm more worried about the other ACC teams than I am about A&M. Syracuse quarterbacks looked good. Yeah, no, Syracuse quarterback is good. He might be this shit. Let's see here. Let me think. If you take Trevor Lawrence out of the conversation, DeAndre Francois from Florida State, Ryan Finley, I think is the best quarterback in the ACC. And I'd say that he's at the close. He's right there. Syracuse quarterback is good. Believe me. He's a very good college quarterback. I don't know how he'll translate to the NFL. I don't think he's big enough or strong enough. But he's a playmaker. If it weren't for him, they might not win a game. That's how good he is. They won 4 games last year because of him. He won 4 games for them. Eric Dungy's the most fragile quarterback in the nation. I don't know why you say that. He's got some injuries, but I don't know. Austin Jensen says, is Florida for real this season? No, they're not. I mean, I don't know what you mean by for real. I don't know if you missed my comments on Florida at the beginning of the stream. I was talking to Falcons Fury, who's a Florida fan. And, I mean, Florida's got all the talent in the world. But they've got some holes, mainly at quarterback. Florida is not going to be... Listen, how many games did they win last year? Like 4? They're way better than a 4-win team. No, I mean, even last year they were better than a 4-win team. They had other problems going on. But it's just... To go from a 4-win team to a 10 or 11-win team in one season would be amazing. So I'm not predicting that. If I'm a South Carolina fan, I'd definitely be worried about Florida. Georgia, I think, is better than Florida still. If you're South Carolina, watch out. That's a game you could easily lose, is Florida. But I don't think Florida's winning the East. I still think Georgia is definitely the team to beat in the East. DeGoat says, do I think Michigan's head coach will get fired after the season? No, I don't. I don't think Harbaugh's going anywhere. I think Harbaugh's there as long as he wants to be, and that's crazy. There will come a time. There eventually will come a time when Michigan fans get fed up with him. I don't see that happening anytime in the next couple of years, though. He'd have to have a couple of 7 or 8 win seasons after this season before they start talking about firing. They love Jim Harbaugh. They love him, man. I mean, I know the guy's an alumni and everything, but at what point does your loyalty to an alumni become less important than winning games? You got to win. When you're making $9 million a year, you got to win. Period. Will Lane Kiffin go to LSU? I'll tell you this. I don't know. That'd be a good place for him to go, though. Listen. So, first of all, if you're Lane Kiffin, what place better to go than a great tradition SEC football program where you get to play against Nick Saban every week or every year? Great situation for Lane and the money, the recruiting base, the whole 9 yards. He's probably the biggest prospect as far as a head coach goes. After this year, Lane Kiffin, however many major programs are hiring head coaches, he's going to be at the top of their list, I think. Now, if you're an LSU fan, why would you not want Lane Kiffin? We know he can recruit, and what's LSU's problem been for the past 8 years, at least? They haven't had an offense. They've got all the talent. They've got at least sometimes a lot of years, great defense every year, and they've got no offense. I mean, their offense has been missing since Obama first took office. So Lane Kiffin can fix that offense within 1 year, more than likely. Best of both worlds. Great job for Kiffin. Gets to play in the SEC or coach in the SEC. He's in a recruiting hotbed in Louisiana. He can recruit all around Florida, Louisiana, Alabama, the entire South, Texas even. Gets to play against his former boss and Nick Saban every year. And if you're an LSU fan, you get somebody that knows how to actually score points for the first time in 10 years. Win all the way around. So yes, I think that's a perfect fit for him. I'm starting to see some Leon. Good afternoon, sir. How you feeling about tonight? You feeling nervous? I wouldn't be if I were you.
Hey, what's wrong? Going to score about 50 points. We're gonna have 5 wide receivers. We might have 4. I don't know.
LSU is a great quarterback, Jamarcus Russell. Pixie and Pete, after watching week 1, I know why it's way too early, but who's the most overrated, underrated team in the country? Most overrated team is Michigan. Not even close. They were overrated before the season started. They're overrated now. They're going to be overrated until they fire Jim Harbaugh. Most underrated team. That's tougher. That's much tougher. I'd have to get some thought to that. I could probably do that easier by conference. I'd say the most underrated team in the ACC is certainly Boston College. Let's see, the most underrated team in the SEC. Missouri. Yeah, Missouri, because of Drew Lock. The Big Ten. Probably Iowa. Big Ten's tough. Forget the Big 12. Forget about it. I don't even know how to tell you who the TCU is not underrated. I'm picking TCU to win the Big 12. I don't know about the Big 12. The Pac-12, I would say they're all underrated, aren't they? I don't know. I guess I'd have to say like either Arizona or Arizona State. Oh, Utah. There we go. That's an easy one in the Pac-12 is Utah. Northwestern, that's a good one. Pac fan, thank you. Out of the Big Ten, I'd say either Iowa or Northwestern. Good pick there. But the most overrated in the entire country is Michigan. It's not even close. The second place is miles and miles behind Michigan. Legendary Greatness. Good afternoon, sir. How you doing? Texas. That was a tough. That was tough. Texas should not have lost that game yesterday. I agree. And you see that press conference with Tom Herman after the game, man. I almost felt sorry for the guy. He just looked defeated and beaten, didn't he? He looked like one of those dogs on the commercial with Sarah McLachlan singing, and they got the flies laying on their eyeball. So sad. Cal is the most underrated. I don't know about that, dude. Cal is they're terrible. Legendary Greatness. No. You Mad Bra says prediction for the UGA versus South Carolina. I'm picking Georgia to win by 10 points. The Sports Fury. I normally would say what's up, Josh, but I don't do that no more. I learned my lesson on that. What's up, Josh and Sean, or Sean, or whoever it is. I never know with you guys. It's like you can trick me. You can catfish me and say you're somebody that you're not. I don't know what's going on there. But anyway, Sports Fury in the house. Check them out. Anybody who doesn't know who they are, you don't know what you're missing. Great football guys. Have an amazing YouTube channel. And I've been fortunate enough for them to have me on their show. And I will be more in the future. So go check them out if you don't know who they are. What do I think of Saban's aggressive reaction towards, I know what you're talking about, towards the reporter asking about the quarterback situation? Much really to do about nothing. Everyone knows Nick Saban. That's classic Saban, him saying that. And the reporter said that she wasn't even offended by it. So, I mean, that's the media trying to make something out of nothing. Listen, everybody who's not an Alabama fan piles on Nick Saban when he does stuff like that. if he's the coach of your team and he does something like that, you're applauding him. So I don't know. It didn't surprise me at all. I thought it was funny though. MDC Bowler Kid. MDC Bowler Kid. Good afternoon, sir. He says, "What's your prediction for tonight's game?" I'm picking Miami to win by a touchdown at least. I said 6 or more points. And that's me being nice, really. I really think that Miami's going to win this game easily. But I'm giving a little bit more respect to LSU just because of the talent they have. So I'm going to say Miami by 6. That's my final answer. And I'm not opening any more of those cases for $1 million. That's it. Final answer. This is Josh. We should start announcing ourselves when we walk in. Yes, that would make my life a lot easier, sir. For sure. So, good afternoon, Josh. How you doing, sir? Welcome to the stream. So, let's see here. Pac-Fan says, Pigskin, would the Pac-12 be better with Boise State? Yes. Actually, the Big 12 would be better with them too. You know what? As a matter of fact, I'm gonna change my answer. The Big 12 needs 12 teams. I mean, do they not have math as a major in the Big 12? How are you gonna be the Big 12 and only have 10 teams? Come on now. The Boise should go to the Big 12, and I think Houston should go to the Big 12 too. That would make them 12. Let's see. Let me do the math. Yeah, 12. I'm a genius. What do you think of fans calling Hurts trash? That's terrible. If now I can do that. I'm not an Alabama fan. But for instance, I could relate if people called Kelly Bryant trash, because I think that Hurts and Bryant are very similar. They're running quarterbacks. They play with a lot of heart. They're not elite passers, but they're winners. There's a lot of similarities between Jalen Hurts and Kelly Bryant. First of all, I'm a huge Kelly Bryant fan. Anybody that goes out and calls Kelly Bryant trash, I would have a problem with that. So I think that's terrible if Alabama fans are calling Jalen Hurts trash. That's terrible. I wouldn't do that. But they're not real fans if they're doing that. We can't be the Big Ten. Duh. Well, the Big Ten has what? 14 teams? Why don't they just change their name to like the Big 14? I don't get it. You guys are a trip. Hold on, let me see this. To go was it says, Pixie and Pete, just curious, would you live stream during Panthers games? Yes, that's a good question, sir. I'm glad you brought that up because I will be. I'm not going to do it every week because I'm going to be doing definitely a college game every week. So my plan, I'm going to cherry pick a few Panthers games. For instance, I'm probably not going to be doing a live stream during a Panthers game, like a 1:00 Eastern game. Maybe a Thursday night game or I don't know, whatever, Sunday night game, primetime, nighttime game I might do. But Sports Fury does all those primetime games. So anyway, the very long answer to your question is yes, I will. I just don't know what games yet. I'll figure that out and let you know. All right, guys, listen, I got to go. Thank you, everybody, for stopping in today. Go Canes. Listen, if you're a Miami fan, this will be the first and last time you ever see me do this. So you might want to screenshot it. Go Miami. I'll be rooting for you guys tonight to beat LSU. Trust me. I'm an ACC homer. Yeah, everybody already knows how I feel about that. So go Miami. I think Miami will win pretty easily. I will see you guys maybe. This is a big maybe. I might see you guys tomorrow during the Florida State and Virginia Tech game. I don't know. So anyway, if you do, great. If you don't, then I'll see you on Tuesday for sure. at 4 p.m. for our normally scheduled stream. Tuesdays and Thursdays at 4 p.m. Every Saturday for a primetime college football game. That will be announced on Thursday. And plenty more to come, plenty more videos. We're getting into the season. I'm so excited. If I haven't trashed your team yet, just wait. It'll be very soon. That's it, I guess. Thank you to all my mods. Thank you for everybody stopping in. Love y'all. Have a great day. Pixie and Pete, checking out.